Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we are analyzing more new footage for the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Several things have come out over the last few hours. Now there's this bigger overview trailer that came out. We will not be discussing that trailer because it has pretty much things we've already seen. There's very little that's actually new, but there's a couple small things that we also see in the two smaller trailers that came out on Nintendo of Japan's YouTube page. And in these two smaller 30-second-ish trailers, there's quite a few things I think are definitely new and are teasing even more. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. But before going forward, let me ask that if you do enjoy my content, to please subscribe and hit that notification bell. And now here is a brief message about today's sponsor. Snaxy is the ultimate Android gaming mobile app where you can earn incredible rewards from over 100,000 options while playing your favorite mobile games, and it also helps publishers acquire new users. Every gaming session with Snaxy is rewarding, with over 100,000 items like gift cards, game skins, and in-game coins. Integrate Snaxy into your routine for non-stop gaming, personalized recommendations, generous rewards, and frequent content updates. For more on the Snaxy app, check out the link in the description below. So to start things off, I'm going to go ahead and just play these two trailers very quickly because they are short, but I will note I want you to be paying attention to the audio here because we do get some nice sound clips of the voice acting that's pretty good. Now, disclaimer, the voice acting isn't like Breath or Tears where it's fully voiced lines, it's just grunts and screams, but still, it's interesting to hear.
ゼルダ姫の冒険が始まる。あ、魔物。ちょっとお邪魔して壺を借りて肉も借りてついでに鳥もお借りしちゃおう。肉でおびき寄せてそーっと。あ、やばい。追ってきた。危ない。この子も借りててよかった。何を借りてどう使うかは自分次第。任天堂スイッチゼルダの伝説知恵の借り物スイッチライトも同時発売。勇者リンクよ、ゼルダ姫を救い出すのだ。ってあれ？ゼルダ姫が主人公？裂け目に飲み込まれた人々を解放するためにゼルダ自ら冒険の旅へ。勇者を失った世界で姫が平和を取り戻す。任天堂スイッチゼルダの伝説知恵の借り物スイッチライトも同時発売。
Now, from those two 30-second trailers, you might be thinking, well, did we actually learn anything new? And yeah, we did. Firstly, we see all these animated scenes of Princess Zelda exploring Hyrule, and they look really nice. But the first thing I noticed that stood out to me is that we get a look at Princess Zelda without her hood, and we can see that her hair is in a bun. Now you might say that's just an interesting detail, but there's something else that's kind of confirmed here because we see her moving around with some actual gameplay with the hood down as well. And so it looks like just how in Tears of the Kingdom you could wear the hood in two different ways with it covering your face and with it not, it appears to work the same way in Echoes of Wisdom. Now how you go about changing that remains to be seen. The next big thing I noticed is that we are seeing the return of Pose. Now, what's very interesting about this is that the design we're seeing here seems to be in line with the designs we saw from both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And the reason I think this is worthy of note is because I've already been arguing for a while that I think there's going to be an eventual Ocarina of Time remake, and I've noticed a lot of things in Echoes of Wisdom that seem to be borrowing a lot of the designs from these two older games. And now here's another example where they are doing that. But going beyond that potential tease for a future game, this Poe has 4 triangles, so this is looking like a major echo that we'll acquire later on. The next part that I find worthy of note is that we get our second look at the snow area. And we're fairly certain that this snow area is in the Hebra mountain range to the northeast of Hyrule in Echoes of Wisdom, and I just find it very curious that this is a region that they're barely showing off in comparison to other parts of this game. Could there be something else there? Well, there's definitely going to be something there. It won't just be complete empty space, but I'm kind of wondering, is there going to be a dungeon? Is there going to be a special quest? Are we going to see another tribe, perhaps the Rito? that remains to be seen. But it is interesting that for Echoes of Wisdom, even though it's matching up with a lot of the prior 2D top-down Zelda maps, they've created two separate mountain regions here, the Elden region and the Hebra region. And in Breath and Tears, these two regions had two different tribes, the Gorons and the Rito. But on the note of the different tribes, we also get closer looks at the ones we already know about. So here we get to see this Gerudo woman who is by Zelda's side, and we've seen her before, but this is the first time we get an up-close look at her right in the front, and I think it's kind of suggesting that this is an important character. This isn't just a repeated design like most of the Gerudo warriors. This is a special one that travels alongside Zelda at least a little bit for some of the story in the game, and something that I find interesting about her is that she has this like necklace or green pendant and even this green sun-like design on her head as well. So I just want you to keep in mind that she's wearing some sort of green jewelry. With this next frame here, we see a whole bunch of different Gorons, and I'm just surprised at how they all have completely different designs. I'm not sure we've ever seen this many unique looking Gorons before. Now I will note the second one to the left with the red hair. We've seen him before, it looks like, and he appears to be wearing a necklace, and the necklace has these round-like beads. It's not green jewelry, but it's something else I want you to keep in mind because we're going to be pointing something out later that might be very interesting. But there is something else in this frame that I find worthy of note, and that is the structure in the background with the Goron symbol. What is it exactly? We don't know, but I have a suspicion that it might be something like the Goron vase we saw in Ocarina of Time, and if so, that is another Ocarina of Time reference, but of course this one is unconfirmed. We also see some Deku Scrubs here, and they are wearing some suspicious looking clothing with these red-orange-like garbs. I wonder if they have a special role in their respective village. And actually, I'm noticing something interesting here. So we've seen this setting before. What we're looking at here is just this setting from a different angle. So you'll notice this purple fruit. You'll also notice this other Deku Scrub that's separate from this other party that has like this white-like petal for a cloak or a robe. And in the prior trailer, we see some dialogue where it says, a visitor? I don't get many of those since I'm kind of out of the way. So this wouldn't be the main area where the Deku Scrubs are. But why do we have what appears to be this organized group of Deku Scrubs? Could they be visiting the outskirts, perhaps to collect taxes or something, or to bully this other Deku Scrub? Potentially, I think it definitely ties into the story. But it gets me wondering that perhaps these other Deku Scrubs could not just be organized, but be coming from potentially royalty, maybe like a palace, very similar to how it worked in Majora's Mask. Looking at this shot for the Zora tribe, we see that the King Zora is also wearing some type of green jewelry, or at least something that's very similar looking with the little beads. Which then brings me to the final thing we'll discuss here, and that's this extended look at Volvagia, or at least this creature that looks like Volvagia, the subterranean lava dragon from Ocarina of Time. And this dragon has jewelry. It has this bead-like necklace that's very similar to the Goron with the red hair, save for the green jewel. So I'm just noticing this similarity here across these different characters where there is green jewelry and also some necklaces that have these duller brownish dark beads. Is there something going on with this jewelry? Could this pertain to maybe the sages or the different dungeons or both? Could that Gerudo warrior that we see is different from the other Gerudo warriors be potentially the new sage for the Gerudos? I think there's a strong chance of that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that Goron with the red hair is also potentially a sage as well. Of course, I'm basing this all off jewelry, and there might not be anything to it, but I do think it's a very interesting set of similarities here. Now, another character that we see that has an interesting necklace is Ganon. We've seen this before, I don't really make much of it, I think it's too different from the other things. But what do you think? And what do you make of all this new footage? Does this have you more excited for the game? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.